Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Casters and Cthulhu. I will be your horrific host for tonight's terrifying tale. My name is Corbec. I've got four brave investigators here alongside me to work through it. But before we get to them, a brief summary, girls and ghouls and all other creatures of the night, or I guess late afternoon to early evening, as the case may be here in the United States. What we're going to look at today. So, a mysterious house residing on a street in San Francisco that's worth lots of money if only one tech bro can get it renovated. Unfortunately, he's having some problems with some ethereal happenings at said home, so he's looking for four investigators from the Berkeley Unnatural Research and Probing Society, BURPS for short, to come in and help him make sure that there are no hauntings in his new home. That is our basic summary here, but let's give the players a chance to introduce themselves, starting let's start with Drex, actually, because you're on the top left here of the screen. Drex, introduce yourself and introduce your investigator for today.
My name is Drex, and today I will be playing Zedric Starchase, and he is an investigator who is 29 years old, used to work for a government affiliate entity and other stuff, and got a little weirded out by one time that something happened in his job. So he decided to now move to the other coast, complete opposite side, in hopes to find some maybe answers to his questions, maybe just a curiosity he has. But there is one thing that he does know, and he knows for sure that this world is not like everybody sees it.
Pyra, how about you?
All right, yeah, I'm Piratechnics, and I will tonight be playing Rick Riley, intrepid reporter. And Rick is a journalist, and I'm going to use air quotes in that, who is very much looking to get accepted into the very prestigious master's program at Cal Berkeley, his hometown, in fact. And well, he has a summer off to try and figure out exactly how he's going to do that. He's looking to pick up some hands-on experience by way of volunteering at the local paranormal society. BURPS was certainly looking for people that could provide not only on-camera experience, but even his own equipment, which he does, of course, have access to. And he may not be a big believer in the paranormal, but he's certainly a believer in getting the big story out that the people need to know. Rick's pronouns, as well as mine, are he, him, and I'm very excited to get the news going today.
All right, and we'll go around the anti-clockwise here. So Sawyer, you're up next.
Hello, hey, Sawyer 55, pretty much across all platforms. Really excited to be here on my first Castles and Casters experience. Today I'm playing Trix, spelled 7R1X. She is a hacker. She was an orphan, picked up on the street, raised by random foster parents. She's now out on her own. And the way that she makes a living is hacking into various places, taking what she can and get out of Dodge before anyone notices. So she's here trying to make a reputable reputation for herself by working with the society and hoping that maybe this can turn into a lucrative opportunity. She does not believe in ghosts. She does not believe in ghoulies. She believes in hard code and facts.
And then last but certainly not least, Jace.
Hiya everyone, super excited to be here. See, my name is Jace, Overwatch Trollercaster and former high elo semi-professional card game player, competed in Magic and Hearthstone. Currently, I'm just Trollercasting and Overwatch, trying to make my way in that. And my character for tonight is Noah Evermore. Noah is 27, 28 years old, so towards the late end of his 20s. Sorry if anyone's that age. Never mind. Anyway, he's an actor, and he's here at the BURPS research facility, and he's sort of finds his way in this story because he is looking for a character. Essentially, he's going to be an extra, a side character in an upcoming film, and it's going to be sort of based on some form of horror, some form of typical sort of 1940s thriller, and he's looking just for inspiration, essentially. So it's like, why not come along and see how they potentially hunt ghosts? That's why he's here. He's just looking for a character, looking to be in it, and super narcissist, as is any Hollywood actor, and we shall see. Super looking forward to it. It's one of my first few games of D&D, so I'm so excited.
All right, well, thank you all for introducing yourselves. Thank you for joining us today, and let's get started here with this adventure, Flip or Fhtagn. Fhtagn? It doesn't matter. Anyway. So, Chaz Walker, depicted on your screens right there, entrepreneur, CEO, and self-proclaimed tech guru, insists on meeting you at his favorite place in the city of San Francisco, the Photosynth Brewery and also Oxygen Bar, the only microbrewery featuring pure oxygen on the West Coast. Sup, bros? Chaz Walker says as he hops off his electric scooter and greets you on a crowded street. Chaz is a young white dude wearing a fleece sweater with the branding of his successful tech company, Planoxia, over a collared shirt and a pair of what appears to be genuine Ray-Bans, and of course some slim fit jeans. You try the brews, bros? You try the oxygen? Shit's good, bros. Like, trust me. After ordering himself some sort of obscure craft brew served out of an oxygen mask, Chaz sits down at a table with you and gets down to brass tacks. So, like, thanks so much for coming in and meeting me today face to face. Like, I really appreciate the human contact. So, here's the deal, right? Like, I bought this house. Yeah, this Zamacona house, I think is the name, but I'm going to change the name. It doesn't really matter. Anyway, I'm trying to flip the thing, like, you know, renovate it, turn it around, get it, sell it for a profit. You guys get it. I mean, you're smart people. And that's what we're trying to do here. But unfortunately, I can't seem to get any like workers. Like, you know, these people I'm paying to come work on the house, they just won't stay, bros. Like, I don't understand. They say it's like haunted and stuff, but like, that's not real. Like, you know, it's horror movie stuff, right? That only happens on YouTube. I don't know. Like, so I need some help. I need some good solid folk to, like, you know, get in there and make sure that the place isn't haunted. Are you guys gonna be able to do that for me?
You said you haven't seen anything there, right?
I've only been to the house like 3 times, dude. The place is a dump. Like, I'm not gonna go there until they reno it.
You said, where was it?
It's in the Mission District. In San. Good property values, by the way. Like, really up. Like, if you guys are looking for some like real estate hookups, that's like a man. You should get down there and go to it, like, for realsies.
That's why we work at the Ghost Society, so we can afford San Francisco real estate. So,
wow, I didn't actually know that they like paid you guys. Like, I thought this was like a volunteer thing.
Oh, there's many people that are working both full time and also as a volunteer basis. I myself am lending my skills as a reporter. In fact, I thought this would be a great opportunity to showcase not only, you know, the important work that you're doing in the city of San Francisco, Mr. Walker, but also just maybe get a little bit of a story on the house, its history before everything gets renovated. Maybe get a little bit more positive press for yourself, and of course, we'll look into the, you know, ghost situation. Don't worry. We are very much professionals. We've got this.
Do you know what type of reports you've gotten back on the property?
First, love you, bro. I didn't catch your name, reporter guy, but yeah, you're a shark, man. I love that. You're a shark.
Oh yeah, I'm Rick Riley. You'll trust me. You'll know in a few years.
Like,
but thank you
very much.
Other
guy didn't get your name either, but Zedric. Yeah, cool name, bro. Cool. But
thank you.
Like, I haven't like seen anything or heard anything, right? But like, these guys that I got working for me, they're like saying all sorts of things. They see, like, they smell weird stuff. They've seen some like pictures moving around or something. They hear weird music, like, that's super strange. Whatever. It's probably just their like radio or something.
Oh yeah, probably just nothing.
And they occasionally say that there's like something in the house with them, like moving around upstairs. But yeah, I think they're just making it up. They probably want me to pay them more, and like, you know how hard it is to find good contractors in this city. Like, it's
yeah, it's probably rats. Knowing the state of the house, I would not go to ghosts. But, you know, tech people, what can you do?
Yeah.
We'll get in there with the cameras. We'll make sure we document everything, and you know, we'll do a little profile in the house. It'll raise the profile. People will definitely be flocking. You know, once we can show their perfectly reasonable explanation for everything, I don't think you're gonna have any problem flipping this one.
That's awesome, bro. Like, I'm super happy to hear that. Like I said, you're a shark, man. Like, this guy fucks. All right, he's good. He's on my side. Like, I got you. We got each other.
Like our crew, we're all professionals. I mean, these are some
you're
of the
all
best
sharks,
folks,
but you're the shark of sharks. Is what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's cool. I get it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
He like pulls out his phone, he looks at it like he's just got like the most important text message of his entire life, and he's like, "Look, I got a scoot, but like, here's the deal. I agreed with your organization or whatever that I'm gonna like pay you guys in exposure, which is gonna be good for you. Like, you're really gonna build your brand off of the kind of like visibility that I'll bring you guys. Like, it's gonna be at least like 3 Insta posts, bros, and like some tweets and stuff. Like actually, like hold up. He like pulls his camera out and takes a selfie of all 4 of you and him without like even asking or saying anything. He's like, that's Insta post number 1 right there. Like
I
just me
immediately
and-
slide a business card over the table to him, just be like, and just make sure you tag me properly. But
for
yeah,
sure,
thank you,
bro,
thank you.
for sure. But yeah, that's like number 1. That's tweet number 1 right there. But yeah, I got to scoot. Just like don't mess this up, okay? All I need from you guys, bros, like all I need is just your word as professional, like ghost hunter, whatever you are, to that like this house isn't haunted, so that I can face to face with the construction workers and be like, look, like here's some ghost hunters. They say it's not haunted, and then they'll probably like get back to work. Yeah, everybody cool with that?
Yeah.
Of course.
Sounds good.
All right,
If
thanks.
I know anything, yeah.
Oh
I
no,
would
go
say
ahead.
that-
I didn't mean to
No.
interrupt, bro. I'm sorry.
No worries, you didn't interrupt. I would say that your house is going to be fine. And if I know anything about physics, I think that this is probably just some electric phenomenon. We got this. You don't have to worry.
That's awesome, bro, because like I need this house. Like I got to keep paying for the startup. Like Pleonoxia is super
Right.
successful, but it's on to the next one, like Zaratroka or whatever. You know, I got to come up with a new thing, and it's the money. Anyway, you don't need to hear about any of that, but I got to scoot. I'll talk to you guys later. He like pounds his brute back and he hops on his electric scooter and he like scoots off into the sunset. All right.
Was he using Heelys? Are those still a thing?
Oh, he wishes he had Heelys. I wish I'd given him Heelys. Now that you mentioned
Did
it,
he,
that
did,
would've
did he
been
have like
so
was
much
it a
better.
Ranger scooter?
Oh,
Oh,
it
my
was,
God.
yeah,
He
it
has
was a
bruises
Ranger
all on
scooter.
his
ones.
shins.
Like it's like an original like vintage Razor
Yeah,
scooter
Of course,
too.
of course. Well, that's the rundown. So he's giving you the key to the house, right? The address of the house and a tweet
Mhm.
about your work. Those are his gifts to you. But because you're all quality burps investigators, right? You know that the first thing to do is like conduct some research about what's going on.
Trix's laptop is already up on the
laptop's
table.
already open.
She's starting to
That's good.
like break into stuff. She's like hacking into like the county records, like the sealed records and things like that to see if she can find any like reports of any like murders or anything like crazy going on at the property.
Rick
Yeah.
is like writing on a notepad with one hand and like sipping like I'm pretty sure the cheapest thing he could get at this bar was PBR, so he's probably drinking that. And he's just like looking at her and be like, so like I know he said it's like, you know, for exposure and I like that sucks, but like, hey, we could get some serious traction here for the organization if we get this video out like quickly. Like that guy has like 1 million Twitter followers.
I mean, I was able to get all the information I needed off of his phone while he was here. We can also access his cash if we need it. So just
Wait, so
know.
you're okay? Well, just you can't trace it back to us, right? Like,
Do you think I'm new? Like I know
don't
what
know.
I'm
I don't
doing.
know how the whole the things you do with the tippy typing. Like, I don't know. Just
You don't
just make
need
sure
to
we don't
know.
get,
Just
like,
know
thrown
it's
in jail.
fine.
Okay,
It's fine.
That's all. Like, I know
I'm
you got like
gonna-
the mad skills and stuff, but yeah.
I'm gonna need a computer roll from you, computer use roll tricks. Just to make sure that you can
All
back
right,
that
I'm
up.
just gonna rob this guy and just retire.
I haven't done it yet. I just got the
I was-
details.
I'm
I
gonna
need.
Here we go.
I'm gonna give you like some options. So obviously there's the internet, right? You can totally use that to do as much investigating as you want. You know,
Just give him his credit
within
card.
reason. There's the library, just some like good old fashioned library digging. And of course you could always go check out the Hall of Records too in San Francisco, see if you can find out anything there. So I'll kind of leave it up to you guys how you want to go about that. If just keep in mind, like this does take time, right? So for the internet research, kind of looking around, seeing what you can find. Let's say that like takes half a day, maybe. No, it's a couple hours per roll to
Okay.
like really get into
'Cause
the
I'm good.
nitty gritty. Yeah, you're good. In the library, that's like probably half a day's worth of research for each role you want to do in library use. Hall of Records would be like a half a day trip down there. So I'll let you guys start wherever you want in terms of your investigation. So where do you
we
feel
have a hard-
comfortable?
Do we have a hard time? Like, is it the type of thing where it's just as soon as possible, or is there actually like
Chaz
a
He
we need
didn't
this
really
by
give
this
us details
Chaz
about
didn't
when he
really
expected
like,
results.
Chaz didn't tell you like specifically, right? Like
Right.
what he wanted, like in terms of that, but play it by ear, see what happens.
Okay.
I mean, I'll definitely
right.
do the computer research.
I'll definitely
Yeah, while
go to
you're-
the library as well.
You know, yeah, should we actually like
Quick
split
one.
up, gather a little bit of research, and then
Yeah.
just, I don't know, meet back. Maybe not this place. Like, God, this is really pretentious, but like Yeah,
Yeah,
we
I'm
could
gonna go
meet
down
back
to the
up.
local, a different coffee shop that doesn't have oxygen mask coffee.
Yeah.
I just want a
don't know why
black
they serve that
coffee.
here. It's
So
very odd.
there was just like a Pete's down the road, so I'm gonna go. I'll be
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Must be high
all right.
altitude.
Should we just like, so you wanted Cedric, you wanted to go to the library, but like, you know, do you want to maybe like group up and do that, or should we like split off? I was thinking the Hall of Records has info on this building.
You know, I think the
Ooh.
Hall of Records would be a great place to start. And I'm always down for a little companionship, so let's try it. Let's try it.
That's really
Awesome.
sweet, you
Yeah,
guys. That's
Noah,
really sweet.
you want to come with as well, or do you want to keep Trick's company at the coffee shop?
Yeah, so Noah's just sort of been pondering for the last couple of minutes, trying to gather all the information, and he's gonna walk over, take his phone out, walk over to Zedric. He's gonna introduce himself. He's gonna say, "You sound a little bit like you know where you're coming from." So this, I think I'm gonna take your lead onto this, but this is potentially a great character right here. So if it's all right with you as well, and I think your name was Rick, was it?
Or do I? My name is Zedric.
That's
Zedric and Rick. I think
I worked for a government affiliate company for a couple of years, and it was good. We did a lot of defense action protocols. One of the biggest ones was something called ultrasonic pulsing modulation, which is really just if you ever heard a really loud noise, but it was like so loud that like you can't hear it, you just felt it. That's sort of what we worked on, and for some reason, I it's in the back of my head, but I just feel as if there's something like I felt at that other place that they're doing this for another reason. I don't know why. It could. I just I'm trying to figure it out. My boss at the other job. Yeah, you know what? I don't want to freak you guys out. I just want to let you guys know that while I truly do believe it could be some electromagnetic interference and stuff going on, keep your eyes open. Like, open.
Oh, okay. Yeah, look, honestly, like,
sure.
eyes are great. There's also this, and he just drops like a big like video camera on the table. Like, it's very, very heavy. It's like, if there's anything like, you know, freaky, paranormal, whatever, like this. Look, this is a Canon XA15. This is gonna catch it. All right, we got this. I think
Trix
this guy
opens her bag, starts pulling out EMF, spirit box, like all of the like go-to ghost. She's like,
Okay.
don't ask me where I got it, but I got everything we need. Don't worry, dude. Like that camera's gonna come in clutch, but she's got all the like fancy parabolic microphones, like motion detectors.
I got a
I
tripod.
look at Chicks up and down, kind of impressed, like,
in
okay.
a bag that looks like it should not be able to afford to hold all of this equipment.
Noah's gonna look into it like, was this legal? It doesn't look legal. Well,
don't ask, don't tell, bro. Don't ask, don't tell.
Ghosts legal?
Also, like, no, like, come on, like legal, like technically police
What
scanning
is
is legal. But how do you
legal?
think reporters get the big story when crime's in progress?
Yeah.
You gotta,
There
it's
you
what
go,
the
Rick.
people need to know,
Good
right? I mean,
mindset.
exactly.
And the camera's the one thing I don't have. So you filled the need of the group real well.
Look,
You're doing real well.
This is like the most valuable thing I own. I'm just gonna like be completely like true with all of you guys. Like, I know I play up like the big face, like, and I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there one day. You know, I'm doing this for like Cal credit, right? But like, we need to get this story. We need to show that this place is haunted or not, and that schmuck is gonna give us like a lot of press. And I wish he was giving us some money, but you know what? It'll be a lot of like stories for BURPS. It'll be a lot of potential exposure for all of us, and they have got to accept my application after this.
Well, now that Rick has turned this into a found footage horror genre, that's good. But have you guys decided where you would like to start with your investigation?
So it sounds like they're all going to Hall of Records.
Yeah.
So I can double dip library because a lot of this stuff is online. So I can do computer/library at the coffee shop.
That's fine.
So should we just meet you back here in like 4 or 5 hours, Tricks? Like, you gonna be good?
Yeah, I'll be here till you guys get back.
All right, cool.
Sounds good.
We'll get some food when we come back.
Yeah.
All right. Well, starting over then at the Hall of Records, because that's it's as good a place to start as any, really. You guys roll up. The clerk kind of eyes you. Yeah, it's an interesting group of people. But he doesn't object when you tell him that you want to check out, the records that are on hand. So he lets you in, and he's kind of like, we close at like 3, so you guys should, be as quick as you can, like, but like go for it. And I'll be waiting outside if you have any questions or anything. So if all 3 of you or whoever of you feels most comfortable want to roll library use rolls for me, we can start and see if you guys can dig up any clues.
Do we want to compare library use stats?
Yeah, mine is
Let's see.
okay.
Mine is 50.
Mine is also 50.
Perfect.
Mine is definitely lower. It's not
Okay,
the biggest fan of
so
reading.
one of us could do it. I don't know if like advantage or anything plays in if we're like helping or working together.
Yeah, sure, we can have
know
that
if that's
play,
easy.
and that's perfectly fine.
All right, cool.
I mean, Drex, do you want to take the first roll? Zedric, take the
Yeah,
first roll.
sure. Just roll
Sure.
D100 plus.
Yep. Got roll 2 D100s and take the lowest, since everybody is contributing now to Zedric's effort.
Yeah.
Teamwork makes the
all right.
dream work.
55.
I don't. You don't want to add the number, but
Well, you dig around in the Hall of Records, and you're kind of like, it's a card catalog, so it kind of sucks, and you're not super familiar with it, but you're trying your best. And eventually, you don't find anything like super pertinent, but you do find out that the owner of the house at one point in time was a guy called Walter Corbett. So not anyone related to the Zamacona family, which was the original name of the house, is the Zamacona house. But a guy called Walter Corbett. It looks like he bought it in the 1950s. From what you can tell here, 1952 is the record that comes up. And that's about all you can really find. If you want to take longer and roll again and dig deeper into the Hall of Records, maybe you can see if you can find any more information about it, but you'll have to come back in the morning.
What time is it? I know they said they close at 3.
It's getting close to closing time, so even if all 3 of you work together, you're probably not going to be able to dig anything more out of this today.
Noah's gonna go over. He's gonna say, what do you guys think? I'm not much of a library person myself, but there's always something. I've seen enough films, I've seen enough scripts. There is always something that they don't tell us. There is always something hiding. What do we think? Do you think we could work a little bit of the good old?
You mean like
maybe,
a back record?
Maybe I can. Yeah, maybe I could. I could go up to them, work a bit of that Hollywood charm, big A-lister.
You mean
I am.
get them to find something for it. That's a great idea.
Yeah,
if you can
actually, when was the house made? Because if this house is old enough, there's definitely going to be some history to it.
It might even be like a municipal like monument or something, right?
You guys don't actually know when the house was made, and it's not recorded in the Hall of Records when the house was built.
I want to whip up my phone really quick and just quick Google it and see if there's a wiki entry or something. I know obviously Trix is gonna probably have all that, but just since we're not there.
redfin.com, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I could just catch you and be like, when was this house
Google.
built?
You can do a quick Google search. You can do a quick Google search, and you'll find out that the house was originally built in the 1840s. By Don Emilio Bernardo Zamacona was the first person who built the original house.
All right,
Emilio Bernardo Zamacona.
Can I go and talk to the clerk then?
You sure can talk to the clerk.
All right.
He looks to be a kind of curmudgeonly old man.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go to him and say, "Sorry to bother you. I know you're closing, but kind of an important thing going on here. We need some information, and we just don't quite know where we could find it. So, how far back do your records go? And I mean really how far back, not how far out there, how far back there, how far in places we cannot see, how far in places that we might not be able to look. We can be gone in 20 minutes if you just point us to the right place. I think it was 1840s Corbec? Was it?
Yes, 1840s.
Yeah, so any 1840s maybe, let's say, housing records, anything, ghosts, horrors, hauntings, even just some guy that had a a particular hatred for Jesus Christ, anything devilish at all, just anything. Give us what you got.
You want to?
Like, I like
wanna
look over
roll
at
like
Cedric,
a,
like this is like really advanced like interrogation stuff. I'm impressed.
you want to roll a you want to roll a charm check because I think you have a decent charm skill. You want to like butter
my
him
charm
up a little bit.
I think my charm's a 70. I think
Yeah.
that's
really
so
good.
just go 1d100.
Yep.
Just a second. I'm trying to remember how to do this. There we go. 26.
Oh.
I whiffed and I'm 26 over.
He kind of like
Things are
looks
going
at,
really well.
he looks at you and he's like, yeah, sounds like super important, but there's a lot of really important stuff that goes on in the Hall of Records. Anything that's past 1900, that goes to a separate historical annex that members of the public cannot get access to without special permission for some sort of research project. And since like you don't have that, I cannot give you access to those records. We're closing in like 30 minutes, so you guys should probably.
Would a
Yeah,
government-affiliated person or worker be able to access that?
You got a government ID like on you that's valid?
I do have my Northrop Grumman ID.
We are actually on an official research project.
Shuffling into my back pocket.
We're looking into an older house.
Yeah, wow, time, like, we're closing, like, now, actually, so I'm
Okay,
gonna
can we
have
come
to
back
ask
tomorrow
you
morning
guys.
and get this information?
Yeah,
from you?
the
Like,
office
would you be able to show us
opens
that?
tomorrow morning, like, yeah,
okay.
just,
All right, what time? Can I get your name, sir? Just
we
because
open
I'll
at
ask for you
8.
when we come in.
My name is Todd.
Todd.
Nuremberger.
Right, I'll just ask for Todd. Yeah, no, don't worry.
I
yeah,
won't
this
be
is-
here.
this is- Okay, well,
I
we'll
will
go
make
ahead
a
and go
point
through
of
the
not
process,
being
don't worry
here.
about
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
perfectly fine.
Mhm.
But yeah, thank you for
I'm
your
gonna
time.
be sick
Everything's great.
tomorrow.
Yeah, take
Yeah,
your,
thanks, Todd.
Well,
take
you
your
know,
creepy
just
actor
hold on.
friend or whatever and just, like, go.
Uh-huh.
Well, way to be a
Yeah.
hater,
Sure
Todd.
will.
Way to be a
we'll be here
hater,
tomorrow morning,
Todd.
don't worry.
Way to be
And
down
I
on
just
a
kind of
gun,
like
Todd.
take like Jace or take Noah. Like, don't worry. Like, not everybody appreciates it, but we'll do
tried.
better in the morning if we need to. Look, we can hit the library. You know, it's like 3. Like, that library stays open.
The library will be
later.
open, yeah.
Yeah.
But let's
One text.
cut back to
Unlucky.
Trix really quick because you're gonna drop her a text message anyway, and let's see how research on the internet is going. So why don't you drop us a computer usage roll here, Trix, and we'll see how the World Wide
Alright.
Web is looking.
Okay. My computer use is an 80. I got a 69. Hey.
Hey, adult channel.
My research is going very well.
It's a success.
Nice.
Very nice.
So you're doing some digging. You're like looking at old, like trying to find traces of anything regarding the Zamacona house. Like you find like the basic stuff, right? Like the redfin.com. You know now that this was bought for like 1.5 million by Chaz. That was the price that he paid for it because that's like the sale number. And eventually, in an old crack.com article about the top 15 absolute worst real estate investment properties in the world, you find number 7, the mysterious Zamacona house in San Francisco. And then you find out that the house is quite old, originally dating from the 1840s. Apparently, nobody has been able to stay in the house for very long since the 1970s, however. So in 1975, a family left after a series of violent accidents resulted in the death of both parents, 5 budgies, 3 bonobo monkeys, and a particularly vicious parakeet. 5 years later, the abandoned property was bought by another family who lived in it for 6 months before they all fell prey to hypertrichosis, also known as human werewolf syndrome, which is where you just grow hair all over your body in places where it shouldn't be. And then the next tenant scooped out their eyes with a grapefruit spoon. So it's got a bad history to it. The latest owners, the Macario family, they still own the house at the time that the article was written. So you don't know why they sold it to Chaz.
Okay. So everything was fine until it was 1975?
The 1970s, the first family that
1970s
bought it
in
in
and around there?
1975. So if you
So there
want
were no issues with it until around that time frame. Something seem to have occurred.
That is as far as you know, but if you want to give me another computer use roll, because we're just like saying you're taking
Digging
more
into the
time to dig in,
1970s.
like you
Yeah.
can look it up and we'll see if you can get any more information here. And welcome to the
Got, like,
investigative
we got, like,
Hey,
the camera pan
44,
going left and
half
right.
of what I need.
There we go.
Excellent.
Now that
Are
I've
you
got
filming?
a lead.
Did
Now
you
that
say
I've
you were
got a
filming
lead.
tricks doing computer
No,
research?
it's just like it's
Some
like
B-roll
the camera
footage.
pan. It's like the Bad Boys too. Just like put on the sunglasses and then just like typing away. Then
All right. So another
That's
search
Amanda
reveals that
Loki.
in 1952, a wealthy East Coast banker named Walter Corbec bought the Zamacona house from the last of the Zamacona family for an absolutely bargain basement level price. My addition. The house has a reputation for being haunted by the first of the Zamaconas to come to San Francisco, Don Emilio Zamacona. But Mr. Corbec seemed completely unconcerned by reports of haunting in his house. Another old newspaper from 1958 states that Walter Corbec was being sued by his neighbors at the time for strange habits, disruptive noises, and violent behavior. So there's some information for you. If you want to dig any deeper, it'll probably take you the rest of the day. You're not going to be able to contribute to any library use, but you can go for like another kind of dive.
I think that's maybe about the time we text to be like, we're thinking about going to the library. Want to join?
Yeah.
Is that
and I'll
fair?
say, I found some interesting stuff. I'll meet you guys there and provide you the details. And I say it
Okay.
all in like annoying hacker text, so you don't understand what I'm saying, but I'll be at the library.
So I write down all the notes, but like I don't like I write down like the shorthand for like the lead speak that you send me, and I'm like I really don't understand any of this, but like I assume it'll be clarified.
Take a look at the text. I'm going to take a look at the text and be like,
Just says,
can you read that out to me?
yeah, it says 1952. I assume that's a date. Corbec, noob, $, Zamacona, swinky face, 110. Like I think there's like it's like a number, but it's like just a bunch of ones and zeros, and then it says haunted, but like there's instead of like an A, it's a 4. That's all I got. Yeah, I can't. I don't know. I assume Trix will translate this. Don't.
Okay. I try to scribble down these words that I've just heard in attempts to figure things out.
Yeah.
So we have an 1840 house with an entire. This is so confusing now.
We learned
Werewolf
about this
syndrome?
Corbec. Yeah, what? But that can't be a real thing. I'm gonna check that out. I like actually IRL.
That must be fake. But
Maybe that's like a thing that you could use for like one of your rolls.
maybe,
You know,
yeah.
right?
I mean, there was many successful films involving a man and a wolf, some of which I can't say due to copyright infringements. However, some of them were successful.
And as they're all talking to each other, all of a sudden from behind them, they hear Trex go, "Hey guys, what's up?"
Oh,
So they turn around and go,
You're at the
"Oh,
library."
She's like 5'4", so they're like, "Oh my gosh."
yeah. So can you tell me what you meant by this? And I like show the like actual transcription that I've like now like written out in like full writing. Like, yeah, like so what did you learn exactly? Because I couldn't understand what you wrote.
Yeah, that's obvious. So the house was originally owned by Don Emilio Bernardo and
Zamacona, yeah.
Zamaconi.
Zamacona.
It was owned by their family all the way up until 1952 when it was bought by Walter Corbec, who is some like bougie banker.
Yeah, that tracks with what we found in the hall.
Yeah, and supposedly when he bought it, he knew that it was haunted by the original owner, but like he didn't care. And none of his neighbors liked him because he was super disruptful. Like I said, he's kind of a douche. So then when it went through a series of owners, it seems like something really significant happened in the 70s, because around that time, that's when there was like some violent reports of like something happened with monkeys and a parakeet. Like people owned some really weird pets in the house. And then like it kept jumping ownership like every 6 months to a year. Like people were not able to stick around. So I think we're looking something to do with Emilio, we're looking something to do with Walter Corbec, and we're looking for something that happened in the 70s. I'd say those are our 3 things we're looking into.
What do you think?
Who was the most recent owner? Did we get that information, guys?
Oh,
Yeah, it was
Corbec?
the Macarios. A family
Yeah.
called the Macarios. They're the ones who owned it up until like douchey McHipster bought the house.
Is there
And
any
then-
way that we can get in contact with them?
I can definitely do some more research, see if I can make contact or like find contact information. That wasn't readily available, but I can definitely keep diving to see if I can find
Really
info.
just
Or
look
we
them
could
up if
maybe
they're-
text him. I mean, he bought the
Yeah.
freaking house from them. You got his card, right, Rick? So you could maybe text
Yeah.
him.
I
and see
gave
if
him
he
I gave him
has-
my card, but like I mean, assuming he has like open DMs or something, I'll just like
Yeah,
I'll
like
be
slide
hey.
into his DMs and ask if he knows the house.
I mean, look,
previous
I've gotten
Yeah.
so much information, and this guy really likes talking about himself. The least I can do is like, hey.
I mean, you're a shark, bro, and like sharks
You're
are
a
sharks,
shark.
You
bro.
know,
Yeah,
sharks
yeah,
swim,
that
you
was-
know, sharks
That was
swim, they
really
go forward.
honestly, that was really weird.
If his
but,
profile is private, let me know. I can hack into it so that you can DM him. So just like
Yeah,
let
but
me
then he's
know.
gonna get like really weird about it, right? Like, let me check. So I like pull up his like Insta and his Twitter. Like, does he have open DMs or has he followed me?
He has not followed you. He
Go
does
figure.
have open DMs.
I shoot him a
So you
message.
can drop him a DM if you want
Yeah,
to.
I slide into Chaz Walker's DMs like, hey there, Mr. Walker, this is Rick Riley with BURPS. We had a follow up question. If you could send us the information on the family you bought it from and potentially any contact info, that would be appreciated.
Okay.
And while
so,
he's doing that, I look at the other two and I'm like, so what did you guys find out? Like you were at the Hall of Records as long as I was searching online. Like you must have found something good.
I talked to a guy named Todd. He wasn't the most helpful. The
No, yeah.
kind of guy that I think he goes home and he just cries to himself before he goes to sleep. Not really, not really helpful. But what I did find is we did have an avenue. Now, if we have enough time, Tricks, what do you think? How quickly could you, if you could anyway, could you forge a government ID? Because if we manage to get a government ID, and I'm not trying to take over the world here, I'm not trying to leak the president's
No,
documents.
I already have
Um,
government ideas ready for all of us in my bag. So like they're ready to go.
So,
I mean,
So-
that stuff can come. Have you not seen Supernatural? Like fake government IDs come in handy all the time when looking into like creepy stuff. So
Yeah, no,
It
that's
is
true.
true.
I'm nothing if not prepared.
Yeah.
Like
So-
you want to
Talk to
be
you more
CIA,
often,
you
Chris.
want to be FBI, you want to be Forest Service. Like you let me know.
Forest
but yeah, if
Service.
we have,
Yeah, that's the
no,
only
could
one
be
that's
really
gonna work.
useful.
So
well,
Chaz
Firewatch, Smokey the Bear.
Chaz is a busy man, so obviously, like, he's not going to respond to his DMs right away. So if you guys want to take some time to like comb the library or do some more like research on the internet, why don't we like this be a good opportunity to do that? So you guys are at the library, so go ahead and whoever wants to, if you want to all team up and work together to give somebody advantage. If you want to research separately, I just need like library use roles, and we'll see what turns up here.
Should we just
I'll,
like split separately and do
Maybe,
different library
yeah,
roles?
me not counting on Chaz getting back to us or being helpful in any way,
No.
just based on my preconceived notions of him. I'm gonna see if I can go back into my computer and see if I can find details on the Macario family or like contact details.
Can I
Yeah,
give
that looks like
advantage
perfect.
to whoever we've got for the highest library check? I guess because I'm sure Tricks will be.
We
fine
both
on
have
their own.
50s, I think,
Both have
between
50s.
Zedric and me.
Okay, I'll
And
give
I'm a 52, so I wouldn't be any additional help here that you guys don't already have.
I'll
Alright,
give
so
it-
we're
I'll give
all at the
advantage
50.
to- I'll give advantage to Zedric then, which is
Okay.
definitely.
Then I'll
knows the
make
most
a
about it.
regular roll like going off in a different wing of the library, so we'll just like
Okay.
circle around.
I'll
Okay,
go with
perfect.
Zedric.
So
Let's go with
let's
Zedric then.
let's get some roll. Okay. So that's
Ooh, 23.
23. Okay.
And
So
then for my computer check is a 43.
Nice.
all right, awesome. So you all have some success actually in digging around the San Francisco Library, a practical gold mine for you guys.
Where we need to hang out.
So you were
Cedric got
digging
you, like, a
around,
hard
and
success.
Drex gets like deep into some old like gossip magazines, like San Francisco specific gossip magazines from the 70s and 60s, and he finds out that like apparently Mr. Corbett loved disco music. Like specifically, he was hosting lavish all-night roller disco parties at a privately owned roller disco in Marin County, which is just like north of San Francisco. That was like his thing, like in society. He loved roller disco. So that's something that you find out, which is kind of interesting. And then, Rick finds out something that's maybe like less less ridiculous, which is that Corbett won his 1958 lawsuit because you find an obituary from like the mid 70s, like 1974, saying that he died in his beloved San Francisco home. And it also states that a second lawsuit was underway to prevent Corbett from being buried on his property, which was stipulated in his will. But no record seems to exist of what the outcome of that like second strange lawsuit was.
Okay.
So he could be buried on his property, or he could not be. We don't know.
You don't.
So the
know
Hall
what
of
the end
Records would
result
have
is.
information relating to the lawsuit and its outcome, most likely, right? Or is there
It
another
would.
location?
It would probably have information related to it. You also,
Okay.
I'll give you guys a picture here of the Zamacona house for the benefit of both you and the viewers. It's the one on the right, and for some reason, the only picture you can find of the Zamacona house is one where there's thunder and lightning and a storm going on, because it's the only way that it would be appropriate.
It's San
What else is
Francisco.
suspicious?
It's fine.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
San Francisco. It's just another day. In relation to your digging around on the internet, by the way, you do find out some information about the Macario family. You're like looking through Facebooks, you're looking through Twitter, like you're doing the whole 9 yards, right? And it looks like some bad stuff happened to the Macario family. Both Mr. and Mrs. Macario are now committed to a psychiatric hospital, though you can't really figure out the reasons why. Everybody's pretty cagey about it on the internet,
I know
like on
what
Facebook
hospital?
and stuff. The Roxbury House Psychiatric Hospital in San Francisco, and their son was taken to live with relatives in Los Angeles. So that's their young son, like a 10-year-old, was taken to live with relatives in Los Angeles. But that's all you're really able to find out from looking at the internet. But like you see lots of posts from the community, like community members, like it must be like neighbors and stuff, being like, oh, wishing them the best or whatever on Facebook. So something bad obviously happened. It's just you can't really
Definitely.
figure out the details. Nobody's saying openly.
And you said,
Can I check? Does Mrs. Macario have like a sister or like a brother, like
No.
any
There
external
are there's
Mr.
no
or
external.
Mrs.? No external family?
The only external family would be, I guess, maybe like a cousin or something. Whoever's taken in the kid who's living with relatives down in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Probably like a sister, let's say. Sure, yeah, like a
Okay.
sister.
Cool.
and you said this psych hospital, was it in San Francisco area?
It is
still?
in San Francisco proper. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Hey, Trix, how far is that? Can we see if we could possibly?
Google search. Google Maps.
Yeah, let's.
How much is an Uber? Can we get an Uber over?
way more.
We can take the BART. It's fine. It's
Yeah, the
cheap.
BART's economical. Wait, I'm not there. I'm looking at a different section, right?
Well, I
Stop
think we can.
screaming
I
across
think
the
we can.
library.
Yes.
Hey.
It's a library.
Sorry.
For God's
The
sake.
voice in my head told me we should take the BART, guys.
Yeah. No, you guys can reconvene. Like, you've done some research, you found out some information. I assume that you all kind of share it with one another. Hopefully this time
Yeah.
you don't need to translate like hacker speak.
This Corbec guy was super weird, by the way. He like won his lawsuit against like all the like loud noises. Probably just like I don't know. He was weird. But then like he wanted to be buried in his house.
Yeah, who would want to do that?
Someone that is
I don't know.
hiding.
He
someone that
might
is
be.
hiding
He might
something.
actually be. Maybe that's why people are freaked about like the haunting stuff. Because like I couldn't find out what happened, but the Hall of Records would have that information. Unless tricks you can look up, like lawsuit outcomes, historical records.
I mean, I can.
It would have been in the 70s. It would have been pending. The exact date I think was like 74 when he died.
You can certainly make a computer use roll to try and find that, but keep in mind like the ability to find like core records and stuff is entirely dependent on if that stuff has been digitized, right? So
Right.
Yeah.
you may or may not be able to find it. But I'm willing to let you have a shot at it if you want to try and find out.
Let's
We can
just
go to the
see.
hall tomorrow morning if we need to. Like, I mean, that's.
I rolled
fine.
a 1.
Wow.
Um,
Well, it doesn't.
Is that a crit?
I think it might have
Yes,
been
it's
digitized.
it might have been. So
There's like a dude that just Project Gutenberged it.
yeah, he
If
just
not,
yeah.
I digitized
That
it
specific
myself.
court record was
Found a
the only
PDF.
one that was digitized.
from far corner of the dark web, just
yeah.
pulled it out from thin air.
There you go. So you do find digitized records and like not insignificant kind of amount of interesting information relating to Mr. Corbec, but this is basically the summarized version of it if you kind of read through some legalese and stuff. So civil court records show that the executor of Walter Corbet's will was one Reverend Guru Prophet Mickey Thomas, leader of the House of Contemplation and Temple of Secret Revelations. That's
Gosh, I
just
hate
his
this guy
title.
so much.
In the 1970s, the Temple of Secret Revelations, because you kind of like branch off. I mean, this is such a like you're doing such amazing research. Like nobody has ever seen research like this before. Graduate students are dying to research this well. Yeah, you're just like all over those keys.
WPM is just like off the charts.
So
Keep the coffee coming.
the Temple of Secret Revelations was like one of these fad cults that like arose in San Francisco in the 1970s, but after that whole like nastiness with the Jonestown stuff, it closed down in 1979. And they had like they existed in like some secluded location up in Marin County, so like north of San Francisco, but the whole operation closed down in 1979. And actually, because you're rolled so well, it was like the best roll that you could possibly roll. The deeper you dig on this like thread, the more kind of some information comes out, and you begin to realize that when it closed down, it was not closed down like through the willingness of the people to close it down. It was closed down by the police. The police raided. And again, this is rumors. There's nothing like super official in the court records about this that you can find, but you find enough evidence to convince you that this is like legit. The place was raided by the police. And you see like some information where it looks like police thought that maybe members of the church were responsible for disappearances of children from San Francisco. And they raided the place. 3 policemen and 17 cult members died due to either gunfire or fire itself. And there seems to be like 54 members of the church were arrested. Like it's a really sordid like story that you're kind of finding on this obscure part of the internet.
Is there any names on the list, like a policeman that might still be alive, a court member?
Yeah.
Just see if we can like reach out to them instead and see what we can get from them.
Because you're kind of like
did
poking
roll.
around at things that aren't really like pertinent anymore, I guess, or kind of like this is all sort of hearsay and sort of half done, and it's really only Trix's skills that has given it to you to get this far. You're not able to see like any specific like officer names. The only information that like does seem particularly pertinent is that pastor, what was his title? Revered Guru
Reverend
Prophet.
Guru.
Yeah, revered Guru.
I got
Prophet
Revered
Mickey
Guru
Thomas.
Mickey
Uh,
Thomas.
Yeah, Mickey Thomas. He escaped prison in the 1980s and disappeared.
So
And
given the
nobody knows what
timeline that we
happened.
have here with 1979, the family deal where like the parents and the kids and the monkey and the parakeet and all that stuff, that would have happened while the church was operating in this location because
Correct.
that was in the 70s. So likely a connection there.
Yeah.
You actually find the address of whatever like this place was, but you have no idea of still knowing if it
What
still
was there
exists or
now.
not. Yeah.
And when did I don't know if we found it when Corbett died.
1974.
74. Okay, so that existed past when he died.
So what was the outcome of the lawsuit in his of preventing him from being buried on his property?
That's really interesting. Like you look at it, and it does look like the end result of the lawsuit was that it was denied, but there is no burial record or funeral record for Mr. Corbec in the records.
So if he was buried on his property, it wasn't legally, but we can't
Or-
find record of him being somewhere else.
The lawsuit was rejected. He won the lawsuit, or did he lose the
He
lawsuit?
lost the lawsuit, but there's
Okay.
no other records of what happened to him.
There's no burial records.
But we
or
know that
anything with him.
legally he's not buried on the property.
Right.
Legally, he's not buried on the property. Correct.
Correct.
Gotcha.
So really, things that at this point I think our main
He also
lead
really
of
liked
finding
disco
out.
music.
He also
Oh, sorry, go
really
ahead.
liked disco music.
Yeah, wait, so
Yeah.
wait, Marin County though, like I mean, I know it's a big county, but like you think the disco parties was like you think maybe he was involved in this like weird cult
Right,
stuff?
like the sound complaints and stuff. Like this is all feeling very cult related now, given
And
the
maybe they
information
like
we
maybe they
found.
just played disco music while they did their weird cult stuff. Like that
What
would
if they were-
cover
You
up
know,
a lot
there's-
of like
What
It
if they
was
were
the
a,
70s in San
something-
Francisco.
What if they were
Yeah.
a disco cult? They were a cult of discoers who
There you go,
worship.
Noah.
Yes.
Yes.
And here's the
Satan.
thing
Yes.
about sound and music is that
Yeah.
people can fall into trances. People can be more, I guess you would say, persuaded if they are hearing certain things. That's something that I was working on as well at Northrop Grumman. I'm very interested in this. Honestly, this may sound silly, but let's have a disco party at this place. I want to see what happens.
you want to
I can
get
make a
jiggy with it in the
playlist.
haunted house.
Yeah, I want to throw
Okay.
a disco party. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's
Look, I mean,
completely irrational and completely against physics. But if I've known anything about this stuff, sometimes you just need to take a leap. Maybe
Can I
go
like
there
maybe
and-
like lead up an explanation before we like start capturing it? Like, you know, like, hey, there was a lot of weird stuff about disco we're trying to contact. Like, you know, we think that the owner, like what's our hypothesis, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
we think
absolutely.
this guy's ghost is haunting the place. What about the original owner, like the Zamakona guy?
No.
Like there was reports about him too.
right.
What
I
if
do
he
think-
hated the disco and his soul?
Like he
was
wouldn't have
rejected?
disco wouldn't have existed when he built the place. I mean, this guy
Right.
like what was he like?
Huh.
Like it was a family were they like mafia or something, you think?
It's interesting. They also built it, and they weren't even in that era of.
Right, that was
This
in
is
the
all getting so
1800s.
confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's all
1840s Don
confusing, yeah,
Emilio Bernardo
1840s.
Zamacona.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, and then his family had it for a while. They abandoned it in the 70s, and then the Mercarios got a hold of it after all the crazy stuff happened.
I know that we were looking at that Temple of Secret Revelations. That's still existing today. Do you think we could find some clues? There
Well,
if
the
we go there?
building exists, but obviously the cult doesn't. So it's likely changed what it is. I mean, I can definitely look into it, but it's not like their headquarters anymore. Like they
Right,
don't exist
We
anymore.
could maybe find somebody who like had a relative or who was in it. Like, I mean, cults are really secret, but people who
Well,
are
if
like,
it was a
ex-cult
temple-
members sometimes.
There might be secret, not passages, but just different areas in the building itself that might give us some clues to something.
So
'Cause
it
a
seems like
simple
there might
sigil.
be, there might be
Yeah.
two things to check out here. One being the cult, and the other being the Marcarios that are in the insane asylum, the psychiatric
Yeah.
hospital.
Before we go to
Um,
the house itself, like looking into those two things doesn't seem like too bad of an idea.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
maybe first thing in the morning, and we can try and be there by like be at the house, not to lose a whole nother day, but be at the house by like noon, maybe a little bit later,
Yeah.
but like
Yeah,
head
I
out
think that'll
early,
work out,
check it
yeah.
out, and then
I'm
yeah.
wondering if we need to go back to the records. I don't, based on what you found about the
I think
lawsuit,
we
I think
do.
we're good. But yeah, we could find out about this burial
You
and make
don't.
sure Corbett.
We don't.
You don't need
We
to go
don't-
back
was
to the
that?
Hall of Records.
What was that?
When you got tricks, you don't gotta do any of the
I
manual
think I just
work.
heard Todd's voice. That was weird.
Yeah, it's weird how that works.
Damn
But-
Todd.
Damn.
Hate
All
that
right,
guy.
so okay, so we got the cold house in Marin County. You have an address?
I'm gonna assume yes.
You have an
but-
address.
Okay.
Yeah, you can get there. You can get
I feel
there.
like-
and
yeah.
it'll take like an hour and a half in a car, but you'll get there.
And you have those gadgets and stuff, right, Trix? I think we might be able to do something. I know the disco party sounds crazy, but you never know.
I love a
What
good
if we
disco
just-
party, man.
Yeah,
I'm
we
already
just-
working on a playlist. You're good.
Look,
Perfect. I
got
have
speakers.
you
Spotify
got,
Premium.
you got like you
I
got
could
like
probably
string or
fashion a
something,
disco
right?
ball. I've got some
Yeah.
mechanical skills here, so I got you. I got you.
Yeah,
We
I
go to
could
Party
definitely
City
hook up
if we
those
need to.
electronics too.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, we could do something that record what we have. We have the video camera. We have all the stuff we need to detect stuff. I don't know if this disco thingy is gonna make something happen, but what else can we have to try?
All
Let's
it's gonna do
gather
is make
some
this more fun.
information.
So
Yeah,
I mean,
might
look,
as
guys,
well.
like, come on, we're going for the story, right? Like, either we
Yeah.
prove there's ghosts or there's no ghosts. So I'm all for this disco thing, but we probably should learn like exactly what went down so we can give that context. Like, this could be
Yeah.
a big story. Like, we could have like a ground zero. Like, this was like like a secret base of like these cultists in the 70s. Maybe they were doing some weird stuff with like animals and and like drugs and music and stuff. Whether or not it's spooky, honestly, I feel like this is one of those stories that like faded and it shouldn't have.
or we could also just make a lot of money. That's what I'm here for.
Mm,
I mean, money's good. I just like, but the people need to know this. Come on, like this is important.
So, just so I
It
understand,
is.
the collective decision is that tomorrow morning you're gonna go to the House of Contemplation or whatever this cult was called, right? Like
We'll go
whatever's
to
left
that.
I'm
of
gonna
it.
go. I'm gonna go to Roxbury if anyone wants to go with me. But I'm gonna
Is that
try and talk to the
the mental
Macarios.
asylum? The mental asylum. I'll go
Yeah,
with
look,
you to the
I
mental
got,
asylum.
I got.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're gonna let me like in with the camera, but like we could at least do like a phone
You can
interview
probably
thing.
you can probably use the camera at the old location of
Oh
the
yeah, no,
cult.
I could
The
like
temple,
that's
yeah.
fine. But I mean, like
Yeah.
if we're gonna talk to the people in the psych ward, there might be some like that might be like a HIPAA violation or something. So
I'll have a recorder in my pocket and we can use what we need from that.
yeah, audio's good. Audio's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, how
They're
your
not gonna
paintball
let you
skills,
take a
Trix?
camera in, that's for sure. So
No.
So you're gonna go to the sanitarium now, like in the let's say it's like 5:30 or whatever after you've been kind of met up like 6. You're gonna go to the sanitarium tonight, and then in the morning you're gonna go out to Marin County and find this place.
I think in the morning we were gonna divide and
Do both?
conquer because I'm
Okay.
guessing it's after visiting hours. They're not gonna let me in
Yeah.
tonight.
Yeah.
I would guess.
Okay, sounds good. So
No, you can't break
we'll,
in.
we'll shift then. We'll time skip for the sake of
You guys
time.
want to get some food real quick?
Yeah, let's
Yeah, I'm
do
not
it.
in all day.
All right. What do you guys want? I'll pick something up, and then you guys can go your way. We'll meet up in the morning.
Buffalo Wild Wings. Some
Buffalo
some hot
Wild Wings?
sauce,
Okay.
some
I
hot-
mean,
some
yeah,
hot
like
hot
sauce.
I got like $10. I can't.
I'm feeling
This-
Caribbean jerk.
This stream
Okay.
brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
Tricks
Fun
just
fact.
tricks
Fun fact.
tricks knowing. Okay, I want to try this. Assuming that Chaz makes so much money, he's not going to notice a $40 Buffalo Wings order on DoorDash. She's going to try and use his credit card
Holy base.
to cover.
I bet you
dinner
like
for
even
everyone.
cover it up like
It's
like
the
it was
least
like
he
some,
could do.
some like
It's the
millionaire-
least. Come on.
Roll
It's
for
an
that,
expense.
like,
It's an
like,
expense.
sure.
It's an
Yeah.
expense.
house
Roll me
house
some
house
dice.
appraisal expense.
That or is that
Trix, how did you, man? How'd you get the Buffalo Wild Wings order? I mean, that's not cheap stuff.
I mean, I got a 21 on my computer.
Yeah, you're good.
So-
Nice.
good.
Roll for
Jesus
Buffalo.
Christ.
Let's
Yeah.
go. Roll for Wild
Um,
Wings. We're getting the whole
over-
we
oh,
get wings of every flavor.
You get your Buffalo Wild Wings on the gratis thanks to Chaz Walker and Pleonoxia.
Yes.
And then
This is a huge
overnight, by the way, you get a drunken DM response to your DM that you sent from Chaz. It's like, "Sup, Shark." Family went
Baby shark.
family went cray cray. Don't know, don't care, but like not sharks, bro. And that's like the entire message.
I
that
feel
you
like I
from
get it at like
Chaz.
2 in the morning.
Yeah,
It
you
wakes
get it
me
at
up,
like
I get all
3:30 in the
excited.
morning. Yeah,
I
it's
look
like
at it and
3:30
then I
in the
just
morning.
go,
Yeah, no.
Like he's really concerned about
Family
this.
went cray cray. He doesn't know anything. He doesn't care. And then he sends you another one at like 4:30, being like, "You solved my house yet?" And that's like all it says.
I feel like I don't even wake up for that one, and then in the morning I'd be
You
like,
probably don't.
"We got some leads. More info soon." Smiley face.
So morning comes around. You've all feasted on Buffalo Wild Wings. Your sleep was briefly interrupted by a drunken tech CEO. And now you set out. So who's going to the Roxbury Sanitarium Psychiatric Hospital? That's
Me and Noah.
Noah and
Yeah.
Trix, okay?
Yeah.
And then
And I created fake IDs where our last name is Mercario on our IDs.
And I've got the camera,
Oh,
and I don't
nice.
want to talk to people in the site because I feel like I'm just like, I don't want to do. They're not gonna let me in with this
so
stuff.
and then
go
Zedric
with
and
Zedric.
Rick. Zedric and Rick, you guys are going north to check out the Temple
Yeah.
of Contemplation. So let's
Yes.
start with the sanitarium. You show up and how do you like pitch this to the person at the front desk? Like this old nurse lady who's just kind of like, can I help you?
Yeah. No.
yeah,
Well, so I was gonna turn to Trix and say, we have the IDs, so but they're not gonna recognize us, and even if they are technically in an insane asylum, I think there's only so much we can push the boat out. I wasn't lucky last time, but I'm
we're their
thinking
cousins. That's the only family they have is the cousins watching their
cousins.
son. So
Ooh.
we are
We
their
could-
cousins.
We can maybe see if we can try and we definitely try and sweet talk some of the nurses, some of the doctors, see if we could try and maybe
Yeah, and I
look
have
at
a feeling you're really good with people, so I'm just gonna stand next to you
About to
and
say,
let
yeah.
you spin your magic.
Yeah,
So-
I'm definitely I'm more of a people person.
I'll let you roll a charm roll to just see like how well you're kind of schmoozing in here.
Right.
So hit me up. Show me what you got.
Oh, for God's sake, 2 in a row! Can I just like
We are
one
doing
time,
so good.
please, man?
I thought you were charming.
I'm supposed to
people
be.
are-
It's like my whole character.
People are
I'm
not
intrigued.
particularly charmed, but if you want to push that roll, I'll let you roll it again. But know that, like, if you fail the second time, like the consequences will not be good. But it's
I'm
there.
going to distance myself so that maybe if things don't go well, I'll stand a second chance.
Yeah, I was
at
about
this.
to
All
say.
right.
So
all right.
I'm
So
gonna
you
like
push
kind of
it.
step away.
Go for it.
What
Push
are
it
the,
real good.
what are the chances that even if I fail, I can create such a distraction that tricks can just slip by?
That could
Is
happen. You don't know. That could happen.
Good plan B. Good plan
Yeah.
B.
Right. Okay. Here we go. All in. Everything on black. Nice.
That's good
Okay,
enough.
okay.
There we go.
Cool. So you get
Nice.
I
people
get
are
closer
initi-
to him as
Yeah.
people start to like him. I'm like, okay.
People are like initially a little uncomfortable, right, with like you talking to them because they don't know who you are, right? And there's a lot of weird people who probably trying to get into psychiatric hospitals for no good reason. But once you kind of, smooth it over a little bit, they're willing to talk to you. So eventually, you wind up in the office of one of the resident psychiatrists, the one who was responsible for the Macario's case. She's like a stern, stereotypical psychiatrist-looking woman. And she introduces herself as Dr. Burke, and she says, "Can I help you? What exactly is this about?"
Yeah. Just firstly, is there any chance that there's two ways I'm thinking about going about this? By the way, Sawyer, just to get your take on it. So, step one is that I tell the psychiatrist who I actually am and that I'm going undercover for a film, and maybe we can try and persuade them. Or number two is we just play the character of the Macarios.
I think
And
we play the character because
then
I
you play the
think
character. We got the
saying you're an
IDs.
actor that broke into a psychiatric hospital, I feel like there's
Didn't
not
break,
any
didn't-
positive
didn't
ways
break.
to spin it.
Didn't break, was absolutely legal. They let us in, but
Because we said we
yeah,
were related to the Macarios.
we did. But it's all the character, it's all the story, it's all for the
I say
for
you're
the-
such a good actor, you should just commit to this role
Commit
and just
to
like
it.
keep
You're
going.
right, yeah.
And really become one with this character, the cousin of the
Good one.
Macarios.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so he's gonna take a moment to just narcissistically get into character. He's
That's
gonna do that.
fine.
And Trix is
That's
just
so
kind of
stuff.
like,
Yeah,
Can
he's
you
gonna
give me another charm roll? I think no.
Okay.
Let's do disguise. Actually, that
Yes,
that
I've
probably
high
is the best
disguise roll.
here for you to be a full on kind of like
60.
get into your character. That's that,
60 then.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
aced
you're
it.
selling it,
Aced
man.
it.
Holy moly.
Easy clap.
This is probably the best
Easy
performance
clap,
of your
boy.
life, and
Easy
unfortunately,
clap.
like
You-
Trix
you're-
is like,
you become a different person. You're like Daniel Day-Lewis. Like it's
No.
amazing. Nobody, and the
Dyson
only
split.
regret that you have is that there's not a camera nearby to film this, because this might be the best acting you've ever done. So
Okay,
how do you throw yourself at this psychiatrist? Like, what's the
Full-
lead in
full-
here?
So just to reconfirm, my character that Noah is playing here is a cousin of the Macarios,
Correct.
and they are coming to visit. Let's say I'm trying to think. What do we need for information? We need records. We need to probably not talk. We need information out of them.
I think
need,
we want to
like-
talk
yeah,
to them. Like, I don't
we
think
wanna
they'll
talk.
have
You want to
many.
talk to them?
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, maybe while I'm here, since I'm in, I'm gonna like on my phone. I've got all this tech stuff on my phone. So while he's talking, since I'm in their network now, because I'm on site, I'm gonna try and see if I can get into their records to see if like there's psychiatry, like assessment
Computer-
notes on
computer
sessions
use
with
that
them.
And go for it. But
Okay.
no,
36
that's good enough. You can start
Nice.
looking through their records on your phone. But what's
Right.
Noah,
while
what do you
he's talking. But
Yeah, what do you
Yeah.
say to the psychiatrist?
So I'm going to say to that psychiatrist, I'm going to say, just obviously the usual greeting, like, "Hiya,
Yeah.
so glad you could take the time out. I know you must be really busy running this asylum. You're doing such great work. If I just have a moment of your time, please. One of my relatives, one of my family is in here. The Macarios, as you can see by my tag. I just a second. It's been over 5 years, and I've put so much time and effort into everything, and now on the anniversary of how hard can I bullshit this? Just maybe like anniversary, like a death or something like that. I could be like,
she kind of like believes, she clearly believes that you're like a distant cousin of these family, and you're like trying to check up on
nice.
them.
Okay.
And she says,
well,
I appreciate you going to such great lengths, like to come all the way out here and find out what happened to your cousins. Unfortunately, I don't know. Are you aware of the circumstances of their commitment to this institution?
And it's this whole time it's all right to battle this whole time. By the way, he's done it. It sounds Italian. I'm gonna put on an Italian accent. I'm gonna pretend that I'm from
Okay,
Europe.
that's fine.
Right,
Yeah,
here
go
we go.
for it.
I'm not doing an Italian accent on stream because I won't be able
God.
to. However, I'm gonna be
I'm looking for my cousin.
Look at my cousin. I come from Italy.
Because they go crazy.
We're strange from the family, but
He's
they're
like in
here
a
to
Luigi's
crazy.
mansion.
I come all the way from the old country. Anyway,
Oh yeah, he come to me on the day of my daughter's wedding. He goes
all right. So you're doing your best Don Corleone.
yeah, full on
impersonation
Godfather.
here.
But
So
yeah,
what
he's
do you-
gonna come over with a deep sort of like
Are you
sort of low baritone, sort of proper Italian European.
well? Are
accent.
you
He's gonna
aware of the
say-
circumstances of them being committed to this institution since you've
He's
been out
gonna
of
say no.
touch?
He's gonna say
Oh.
no. Yeah, I need a
It
bit of an
was-
update.
It was very unfortunate. Mr. Macario, they bought a house during the pandemic. It was a fixer-upper. They were like really dedicated to the idea of kind of going through and fixing it up. And I think the stress of it was honestly too much for it. Mr. Macario, he stepped on a Lego, apparently. That's what he says, at least, and fell down some stairs. And hurt himself, and shortly after he really just deteriorated mentally. When he came to us, it was said that he was like wandering the streets at night, raving about all sorts of crazy things. And she kind of like looks at, she's looking through notes. He says here something about like burning eyes and spilled wine and hockey for some reason. Your family know anything about hockey or anything like that? Just seems weird.
They're gonna say no, we don't play hockey in Italy.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. Yeah, but I mean, I didn't want to assume. I don't know if there's like
No,
an
no,
Italian
it's-
hockey. Yeah,
it's-
yeah. But
Italian
strict-
Hockey League.
Yeah,
I
Italian
hope.
hockey.
No,
League.
it's okay.
He said it says here
IHL's
too
coming
that
after
like
us now.
honestly for the first like 6 months that we had him in here, we like could not get him to stop singing disco songs. Like really loudly and really badly. I mean, like the worst disco music you can think of. Like they're really stereotypical stuff.
What any lines in particular? I'm gonna try and find out the songs. Just even if a line or two
like
down.
the
for the other
classics
theory.
like Staying Alive and I Will Survive and that sort of stuff. But you'll be happy to know that we calmed him down now, and he's doing a lot better, but we still don't really like to introduce him to visitors. I'm sure you wanted to see your cousin, but I just would prefer that we didn't put him through the stress of that, and I'm like sure you can understand. He just keeps saying something about like a spoon and the devil. But trust me, him talking about the spoon and the devil, that's like a big improvement from where we started here with Mr. Macario. As for Mrs. Macario, she checked herself in after about 3 months after her husband was checked in. She just had a complete psychiatric breakdown, and unfortunately we've not really been able to get through to her yet. It's kind of the same thing. Like I really would prefer that you don't like speak to her. Anytime somebody tries to talk to her about the house, she gets really upset. And she just talks about kind of an evil presence in the house. That's like her delusion. That there's like an evil presence in the house.
Right. I think Noah has gotten enough information. I think the info is not too bad. I think he's gonna try one last time because I think the wife seems potentially in a bit more of a talkable state. So is there any chance that I should sort of would that go well? If I just be like, ask him, is
The
there any chance?
psychiatrist is like, I totally understand because I mean you rolled so well, right? She's totally
I rolled a
this
3.
This concerned cousin routine. She's like, I totally understand that you want to see your cousin and you're concerned and whatnot, but I don't think it would be good for you to see her. I really don't want to set back the progress we made for either of the Macarios. It's been an uphill battle for the last like year and a half to really get them
Okay.
into this state. I'm sure
Well,
you understand.
Yeah, he's done a nod, and just for the effect, he's gonna say grazie as he leaves the room. There we go. He's
Ciao. She
Yeah.
says as you leave.
Yeah.
So a successful trip to the psychiatric hospital, I guess. Trix, as you were looking through the records, you kind of confirm that everything the psychiatrist said is true. And the only other note you get there is that Mrs. Macario thought that whatever the evil entity was in the house particularly hated her husband. And that's like the only additional piece of information you find.
So we've got a devil, a spoon, staying alive, a hatred for the husband. I see.
Burning eyes, spilled wine, hockey, spoon, and devil.
Yeah, lot to go on. Lot to go on.
No Disco Inferno.
But no Disco Inferno. No, interesting that got left out. But then flipping scenes, we'll go to Marin County, where the other two brave investigators here have come upon the address of the roller disco / cult of contemplation. And you find out as you're approaching it that it does look like it was a roller disco. Like there are some worn down signs around the place, and what's left of this old location sits in the middle of a field in Marin County. And it's really kind of weathered and overgrown with greenery, and the rubble is kind of breaking down. And it's interesting because, first of all, I'll show you what it looks like. Like no roller disco you've ever seen before. That's for sure. We'll pull it up on the screen here so our viewers
Is it like
can
gated
see.
off, like condemned, or is it just in an open field?
It's in a pretty secluded area, so it's not really gated off. It kind of looks out over the sea, and you're able to wander up to it. It's just a ruin, and as you look through the front door, or like the front archway, there is indeed a roller disco floor, kind of in disrepair, inside this strange church-looking building.
Okay, Cedric, I think your whole like disco plan, like you might definitely be onto something, because this cult was like apparently really into it.
Yeah, so into it that they don't even need a real disco rink that's close to the public to access it. Because normally when you're doing disco, you want to be with a lot of people, have a good time. It's a party. It's not a secluded area that is hard to access. I go and check around the building to see if there's any electrical panels, to see if there's any electricity running into the building. Still.
Looks like none of the like electricals or anything are working. You do see this symbol that I'm showing on the screen here repeated multiple times. It's looks like it's one or two of them actually look like they've almost been like freshly spray painted, kind of just like mixed in with the graffiti. But that
I take a couple photos and
yeah, it's a ruined building, so there's a lot of graffiti and stuff. But you notice that symbol a couple of times repeated, and some of it does look kind of fresh, which is interesting. You also begin to feel like, especially you, Zedric, you begin to feel like kind of uncomfortable, like ill almost. You tingle a little bit. You got kind of a headache, but not quite a headache. And Rick notices it as well.
I get the feeling, or I notice Cedric looking uncomfortable.
No, you both are getting the feeling.
Hey, is this like high altitude here? It's
it might be. It's some weird vibes for sure. Hey, hang on. Let me just get like a couple shots and like like I don't. Yeah. Unless there's something buried under the ground. Like I thought it was going to be like a full like building. It looks like it's just ruins. So.
You know what?
I'm gonna look around.
You look around, and you know what?
Take a breather. It's okay.
You know what? I go into my phone, and I go to Spotify, and I pull up Trix's account, and go to her public playlist, and I pull up the disco playlist that she was making, and it goes to the first song.
It's a great playlist.
Yeah, I look around to see if there's like maybe like a ground like that's if not freshly dug, like if there's like some sort of like storm cellar or something underground, because it looks like there's no actual like whatever's inside the actual building itself, since it's just like a ruin. There's really nothing preserved, so I'm assuming if there's anything here, it's underground.
I'm walking around sort of with like the music in my sort of to like calm myself almost, because like I said earlier, like the music thing for me, I was like, all right, you know what? If I'm gonna get into this disco thing, in my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, I'm gonna play this disco music, and I'm not gonna feel uneasy. I'm just gonna power through it, like sort of just using willpower to just be like, you know what? Screw this. I'm just trying to go in, and I'm looking around as well, trying to see if there's anything to do with like anything electrical. Looking for anything maybe that is like not hidden per se, but just out of place as well. And I also, yeah, I'm just playing this music and
Sure.
just walking around while I'm playing it.
So it's pretty apparent as you guys are looking around that like this place, the story that you read, or the story that you read bits and pieces of on the internet about like this police raid and this fire and all this stuff, that definitely bears out, because it's like fire charred, part of the disco floor is like cooked. And you notice too that there are like bullet holes in some of the walls and whatnot. So it's very obvious that like that part of the story seems 100% verifiable. If either of you has spot hidden and you want to make a spot hidden check, I will totally take that.
I got a 60.
Go for it.
Yeah, you got a 60. I got to.
Gonna do that. I also, while I'm doing this, while I'm looking around, I want to like have the camera up, or like if you'll do it, and I'm like, and I'm here in front of, like in front of the in front of a supposed cult location from the 1970s, and I launch into like the information that I have, and just like this is for records, this is for us to check this out later, but I'm just gonna roll the hundo, and I got a 78, unfortunately, which is not great.
I can assist him, right?
Yeah, you can assist him. Sure.
Okay, I can roll again.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah.
Carrying your video camera around, assisting you.
Oh,
and all that.
Super duper extreme success.
Hey, look over there. What's that?
Well, actually, it's just hard success, because it's happening.
Yeah. You kind of are poking around and you're looking, and you're beginning to get a little bit discouraged, right? You don't feel very well. You feel kind of gross, and you begin to think that like
putting on the smile for the camera.
Anything that existed here that was important was probably already taken, a long time ago, by the police. And then you notice two things. One is that you notice that the disco floor, the roller disco floor, has that same symbol that you saw on it, like massive. It's just faded and partially burned and obscured by rubble, but that like is on the floor of the disco. And then you notice as you're kind of poking around the floor that one of the floorboards is a little loose. So you pull at it a little bit, and Zedric jumps in to help, and the two of you kind of lever it up. And underneath, you find an enormous book, like a really old book, and it's just kind of rotten and worm-eaten, and it looks like whole sections have just kind of been destroyed. But the whole thing is written in Latin, and you can't make heads or tails of it. But it was clearly buried here, and you don't really know why. But you found it.
I go to Rick and I say, hey, don't touch that book. We don't know what that book is. I need to tell you something, Rick.
Okay, wait.
On my spare time, I did a lot of research. I did so much looking up. Listen, I was a physicist. I did computer engineering, and I thought this was just going to be something, it's just a Rick. No, that book right there, I don't know why. When I look at it, it just does not give me a good feeling. And can I make an occult check to see if I have any form of?
You sure can. You sure can make.
I'm just taking pictures of it from each angle. Like I want to get pictures of the inside, and like assuming it disintegrates on us after that, but I'm not going to open it yet.
Yes. Oh, and my occult is 60, I believe. Let me
oh wow, yeah, that's nice. Dude, that's like extreme success.
So
or just one over.
You can't read Latin. Nearly called Jazz. Wrong person. You can't read Latin, Zedric. But you, because you've done like some digging into the occult and stuff, you recognize probably like certain phrases and certain things, and you recognize the lettering here on this book, and it's you realize with kind of like some trepidation that it's a famous occult text called the Liber Ivonus. are also known as the Livre de Ibon, which is a grimoire from supposedly the writings of an ancient magician named Ibon from some strange pre-human civilization called Muthulan. And you know that it was never printed in the 20th century, and it must be like really quite old and really quite valuable, and is arguably one of the strangest and rarest kind of like forgotten volumes of occultism that exist.
I go look at Rick and I'm like, Rick, this book, I remember looking in the recollections of all this stuff, and I'm pretty sure this is a seriously old book with some knowledge we probably don't want to know if we want to keep our heads on our shoulders.
Okay, hold on. It's a weird, freaky old book. I get it, but like this was a weird, freaky cult. Like this is in Latin. You're telling me like this, this book is supposed to be from like the dawn of time. So these guys just like made a fake version of it or something and buried it because they're weird.
Do you see my hairs? I have goosebumps right now, and I cannot tell you how. We need to find a way to package this. Or I don't know.
Exactly. We can't leave it. That's all I'm saying.
No, we can't.
I don't want to leave it. Do I have like a vacuum seal bag or something?
Do you have a bag? Yeah.
Well, because I have my camera equipment. Would I have anything on me that would be like like a preservation, like an evidence kind of kit? Because I'm not like a detective, but I am a reporter.
Probably like a spare bag or something. Right?
Yeah,
like something I could wrap it in.
You have something you can like wrap it up in. Even if you wanted to use like your own jacket or whatever, you could wrap it up in to try and keep it safe. But I mean, even if it is this rare text, and it's very strange that it would be here, and it I think kind of confirms, right? You're thinking it is very old. It's not a complete volume, and you guys can't read it unless you know how to read Latin. So, but you have it. So that's something to have on board.
Like Trix can probably digitize this without like actually reading it. So if there's like freaky magic, like she won't get brain blended by it or something. But like we need it like in PDF form because this thing's gonna fall apart. So I wrap it up as gently as I can in my coat, and like we got it. I agree with you about getting the heck out of here though, because there's nobody around. I'm getting this like weird like watched feeling. Do not.
Hey, if you don't mind, Rick, this is gonna kind of seem weird, but you mind if I just like pray really quick? I just need to do this.
Hey, I'm not super religious, but like, dude, I don't judge. Go ahead.
Thank you. And I go off and pray in the corner and just do a little thing just to keep myself in order.
Okay. I text Trix at this point, be like, how's everything going at the psych ward? We found an old book. Maybe you can convert to PDF.
Trix responds pretty immediately because she's always watching her phone. Went fine, got some deets, meet you at house. Peace out. She doesn't say that. That's so lame. No, she doesn't.
It's just like the peace sign in ASCII. Yeah,
she like has her own emoji and looks just like her, and she's like,
it's just like
just the people leave emoji.
Hacker emojis.
Yeah.
So as you're all kind of converging, so she's gonna. I assume that means the Zamakona house, right? Is where you guys are gonna meet.
Yeah.
So as you're all kind of converging on the house, you get a text from Chaz Walker. It's sent to all of you, and it's like, "Yo, bros, like you figure out this house thing yet? Like I gotta get cracking. Like I need this house, yo. Like
it's been a day.
There will be no Insta posts," he says with multiple exclamation points after it, if you guys don't solve this quick. So he's pushing now. He wants this done.
Do we get this text as we arrive?
No, but like soon, let's say.
I wait like I don't want to let anybody else respond like too quickly, so I wait like maybe 10 seconds and see if anyone starts doing the ... and then I type really quickly. We're on the case. You can't rush professionals, but we'll be done soon.
All right. And you send it to him, and just at that time, your Uber pulls up to the front of the Zamakona house, and the rest of your other two companions are already there. Noah and Trix are waiting for you. And
the text ticked me off so much, I'm gonna try and siphon some money from his account.
Well, and here we go, robbing again.
Yeah, I got a 29. I totally
you're able to siphon some more. There you go. You're able to cipher off some money.
Pieces.
Very
But
nice.
for now, we're going to take a quick break. We'll leave our 4 investigators standing outside the Zamakona house, preparing to confront whatever darkness awaits within. You're watching Casters and Cthulhu here on the Casters and Castles channel. We'll be right back with you after this break.